and welcome back to another Sims 3 speed build. And yes, we are back on our speed builds. I think it was only a couple weeks that I did not build. This is actually the last house I had created prior to taking a little bit of a break. And since then, this past week, I have actually created 2 more houses, so I think we are doing good. However, I still haven't gotten back to that colonial I had done. I am planning on getting to that one here pretty soon and hopefully finishing that one. But I have a few more houses that I have done, so how exciting. Mostly the thing wasn't so much building the house that I was starting to struggle with. It was actually just decorating. I wasn't really getting inspired, I guess you could say, on what to, how to decorate it and things like that. So that's kind of where the problem was heading. I wasn't, I really enjoy building the outside of houses and stuff, and I don't mind decorating. When I'm in the mood for decorating, I can sometimes go through it really quickly and just pretty much get it done. But this time around, it just, I just kind of fell into one of them little slumps. So but anyway, back to this house. I'm not really too sure exactly how to describe this house. I think the landscaping this house turned out very nicely. I do think when the ideas are flowing and everything, my landscaping is actually starting to improve and get better. There are still some days where landscaping just is not my area of the house, but I'm not, like I said, I don't know how to explain this house. It's actually it is pretty small, and if you're wondering, that is going to be a wraparound deck. I have no idea what made me think of this type of style. I really have no idea. I don't know. I just started building it, and I wanted I guess over the years and stuff, when you look at, I guess you could say, a beach house, that you can build and everything, and how they have the stairs in the front like that going up to a deck. I guess that's kind of I guess my inspiration for it. I think that's kind of what I was leaning towards, but it's not really in the colors of those beach houses. And a lot of times they're a log cabin, I think, that you normally end up seeing that are built in this type of style. But like I said, it didn't really turn out like that. So it ended up taking on its own kind of like character, I guess you could say. And the whole front there with those big windows, that is all open. It has kind of like a loft, I guess you could say. But the loft is used more like a I guess like an office, and you can paint and things like that. So I think the house turned out really nice. It definitely turned out better than I thought. When I was first building this, I was very unsure of how this was going to turn out. Even now, after I got windows and colors and everything on it, I still was not sure if this was going to turn out, as I was imagining, as I had planned. But by the time I do the landscaping and everything, it really starts to come together and it really looks good. Now, of course, I am building this in a Luna Island. However, it does not need to be in a Luna Island. Since this world, is easily to load up and quick and things like that, a lot of times I use this lot over here. It's the 64 by 64 lot that comes on the island, and a lot of times I delete it and I just put down a different lot instead, and I will use it for any other kind of builds, basically. So yeah, this is just on a plain flat lot, so you can pretty much place this wherever you desire. So yeah, here we're starting to get into some of the landscaping. I thought I'd do a fountain. Now I don't really do too many of the, making my own fountains or anything like that, but so I'm not the greatest at it, but I think it ends up looking pretty good, especially after I had recolored it and some more landscaping. And there's a lot of landscaping, a lot of plants. I mean, very lush plants, lots of color. I really tried to just kind of scatter them about with really no rhyme or reason. I'm trying to practice at doing them. I think it's starting to turn out better. I hope I'm not overdoing it. I guess that's possible to have too many plants. And then I thought I would try some rocks just to try to maybe change it up a bit. I don't know, add a little more character to it, and plenty of trees. Lots, like I said, lots of landscaping. I definitely put a lot in this time, so it just, I'm just thinking of it. I mean, the plants just kind of fell into place, and it seemed to be working pretty good. So I do try whenever I'm doing the plants and stuff not to have them clip through the wall. It definitely would be nice if the game would recognize that those were walls to a house or a building or something, and maybe it would erase the part of the plant that went through. I mean, that would definitely be nice, because obviously, plants don't go through walls. So, but yeah, that, for me, that really bugs me. I really don't like it when I see plants coming through the house. Now, sometimes a tree doesn't bother me too much, because normally the tree fades away and I can usually ignore that, but the bushes, those don't fade away. So if they're in the wall, well, they're going to be in the wall. So yeah, that, to me, that seems sloppy, I guess, and I don't know, unclean, not really unclean, just not a very nice look. I don't like it, so I do my best not to let that happen. So I think this lot would definitely look really good next to a whole bunch more trees, because this lot is pretty bare since it was a really big lot to start with and there was no trees on it anyway. So, but I definitely think if you were to place this somewhere that had more surrounding trees, it would really look nice. So just going through and just blacking out the areas that your Sims can't go, I just feel that that helps redirect your eyes towards the areas that they can go, and basically not as much distraction, I guess you could say. So now what I try to do with any kind of open room like this is I prefer a nice seamless look from top to bottom, but trying to find any kind of wallpaper to use that does not have the trim on the bottom is like next to impossible. I don't think there's one that even exists, actually, because I like to have the trim on top. I just think that helps give it a finished look, having a nice trim on top. So we end up going with a bare wall, which isn't normally what I do, but I wasn't really, you can't really find anything, and I didn't really want to spend the time. I know I've done it before, I've created them, but I didn't really want to deal with it this time. So now the floor plan of this house, when I first built it, I thought, oh, we would have plenty of room, not a problem with doing the floor plan of this house. But as it turns out, as you can see, I really struggle trying to figure this out. Because well, for one, I'm not really a big fan of blocking windows with stairs, but you end up having to do it anyway. So I hope that ain't too bad. And I usually try to fill in the staircase a little bit with a wall. Some houses it looks okay having the staircase completely open, but in this case I really felt that it needed to be enclosed. That way it would, I thought maybe it'd look better. Like I said, here I am. I'm really struggling with the layout of this house. I actually ended up stopped recording the the interior of the house just so I could figure out. Now you're probably not going to know where I stop it because I always pick it up right wherever the camera left off. But basically how you see the kitchen, this is the way it's going to end up being. It's a very small kitchen, just enough for your sim to cook and prepare meals and things like that. And the living room, as you can see, is also very small. Everything in this house ended up being a lot smaller than I imagined. I didn't figure it'd be this small. The main living area is the smallest area of the house. The bedrooms and the loft area are all decent size, but this main living area is pretty small. If you like compact houses, which I do, less moving of the camera, you'll definitely probably like this house. All you really gotta do is go up and down on the floors, and everything is pretty much right there. So we pretty much got the floor plan here anyway taken care of. The bathroom is definitely an odd shaped, but I wasn't really too sure, how else to do it. So we end up having the stairs, the spiral stairs, going underneath the other one as well. And of course they're I think they're in like an odd place or something. I'm not sure. The wall didn't want to go around that staircase in the basement the same as it did upstairs, so I'm not really too sure. It wasn't looking right, so as you can see I took it out. So but just trying to figure out wallpapers, and here again, I didn't want the upper trim, of course, going across that one wall, because then that would have split the main wall up, that big wall that you see. You'd want it to be more of a seamless. Now you are able, as you can see, find wall pieces that at least have the bottom trim. But like I said, I usually struggle trying to find ones that have an upper trim and no bottom. I know I've done it before. I did it in my simple amber build, but I have, it's been so long since I looked at that house. I'm probably wrong. It probably has a trim or something. I don't know, but it had kind of like a taller living room ceiling in the turret, but it's just one of those things where I try to make it as nice and seamless as I can. I like the warm colors in a house. I would much rather feel, when I walk into a house, I'd rather feel welcomed and cozy and warm. So that's why a lot of times you'll see in my builds the warm wood colors and, just a lot of the warm colors in wood trims and things like that. So I guess that's one of the reasons why I don't do much in the way of modern, because I honestly have never really seen much in the way of modern that gave me the warm, cozy feeling, and I don't want to walk into a house that feels like that. So that's usually why I end up building more of a traditional house. Now this house, of course, isn't too traditional. Again, I have no idea what kind of style you would consider this, but yeah, anyway, basically what's happening here is there's actually a tree there that's disappearing. It took me a while before I finally found it. It was those I don't know what they're called. Gosh, I don't know, some kind of tree or whatever that I don't use too often because it looks like a weed to me, like a plant that you wouldn't want in your yard, but it disappears when you get too close. So I kept trying to figure out what was blocking the flooring there and why it wasn't going in, and it was just that stupid tree. So that's why you see me fighting with that so much. But now we're just trying to, go into a little bit more of the coloring. I hate trying to color countertops. I don't know if you ever noticed, but sometimes I spend too much time trying to color countertops. For some reason in this game, they just don't look very nice. Just, my opinion, of course. They just don't, I don't know, look very good. So, but just trying to, clutter it up a little bit. I kind of liked what I did here with the couch and the coffee table. Just kind of, I don't know, it gives it a nice look. It was different. It was definitely different. So, I don't think I put any curtains or anything in front of those big windows. I left them open because if you're going to be in a house with big windows like that, you don't really want to cover it up. So obviously they're there for a reason. There must be a nice view or something, a reason why they're there. So, and as you can see, we're kind of going with a green tone for the kitchen. Not really too sure why I chose that color. That just happens to be the one that I guess was looking, the only one that I thought was going well. So, and we just kind of section things off, putting a little trim here between the carpet and the wood just to give it a more finished look. Nice trim piece there. And of course you gotta put all your furniture back and just readjusting, because sometimes I put something down and I don't always necessarily am happy with what I had done. So sometimes I leave it because I just can't come up with anything else, or I end up getting rid of it because I really didn't like it. So, but I think I put a video game device or whatever on the table. I'm not really too sure. I think that's what that is. I don't know. I think they're close enough to the TV to use it. I really don't know. Normally when I do a test on a house, I usually do test things, but normally I just have one of my townies or whatever go into the lot and I open it up using mods, and I go in and I just test certain things. And you can test pretty much everything except for cooking. You can't cook when you do that, so you can't, I don't think you can even get in the refrigerator either. So, but usually I'm pretty certain that everything in the kitchen does work. And there wasn't really anything in this house that I questioned. Now, I wasn't sure about the Sims being able to get through the sink there in the bathroom and that toilet. So I did test that, and they can get through there. They can use everything in that bathroom. I had just wanted to double check. I don't think I've created a bathroom that was kind of set up like that, so I didn't have, any previous experience on whether or not that would work. But I think I forgot to test the gaming console because I don't remember testing that. So I apologize if it doesn't work. I guess that's some easy money for your sim. If it doesn't work, you can just sell it and get some quick cash from it. And just going through and trying to redo some of the, trying to get some of the decorating in this house, in the bathroom. And while I was building, actually this last house that I just finished, actually right before doing the commentary of this one, I got to thinking, I think one of the reasons why the camera and stuff doesn't move around quite so much when I speed up a video is I think it's the lag in my computer. There's actually some times where it is moving so stinking slow that it's like a snail when I'm spinning the camera around. So when it gets sped up, it really isn't moving that quickly. Now if you see that the camera's spinning and moving around pretty quick, then it must not be causing a problem. But every now and then I just get that lag, and oh my gosh, it just makes me so mad. I don't always know why it does that. It's probably my computer. My computer really is not the greatest. And if you ever look at the specs that I have wrote down for the computer, you'll see that, in its day, it was probably a decent computer, but it's not really a gaming computer. When it was built long time ago, I didn't know anything about computers. I was too young at the time and inexperienced at the time, and wasn't playing these types of games or anything like that. And my brother at the time had built the computer for me, and it wasn't built for gaming. So trying to run these games and everything, it wasn't, it doesn't handle it the greatest sometimes, and sometimes I get so mad at it, but that's okay. We're gonna eventually get a new computer. So I know I keep saying that, and it's been months and months, but I'm hoping here pretty soon I'll be able to finally get my graphics card. So I mean, $500 on a graphics card, that for me, that's quite a bit of money, but I hope it is well worth it, well money spent, I hope, because that, to me, that's a lot of money. That is pretty much most of the cost in the computer I am currently building, so it better work anyway. I will be pretty upset if it doesn't do any better. But anyway, we're just, working on the lighting. A lot of times I go into night view when I do the lighting, so I can see more of how it's going to light up for you at night. And since I have a chandelier, I thought with it being open like that, it would look best using the chain. The chain comes from, oh my goodness, it was that Now and Then manor or mansion or whatever it was, a Now and Then house. So if you don't have that, that's okay. It'll either be replaced with something. I'm not sure what the game would put there, or it just won't have the chain at all. Sometimes you don't even have the object at all. So I think that is the only store content I used. You won't have to worry about custom content. I don't use that anymore. Now in my early builds, I used custom content, and but it was minimal, and when you go to download it, like on the Mod the Sims website, it actually has all the links to all those custom content pieces if you were interested in downloading them from those previous videos. But all my new ones and recent builds in the last probably 3 months, 4 months, I'm not sure, I had gotten rid of all my custom content. I don't have any anymore at all. But I do have store content, and sometimes I do use some here and there, but usually it's not a big deal if you don't have it. It doesn't normally, I don't use that much of it anyway. So, but anyway, yeah, because, I prefer my builds to be able to be used by anybody, but every now and then, I got that custom content, sometimes or not custom content, that store content, and sometimes I just want to use it. I haven't used it in a while, or maybe not in any of my personal games, and I, just want to use it. So every now and then. But this room, this is the master room. If you haven't, figured out, it's kind of got the red colors. And yeah, I do tend to decorate the master bedroom for, like, if a female was living there. I don't know, I guess that's just how I see a master bedroom. So I don't know. But that's just kind of how I decorate it. So if you're ever wondering, that's why the master bedroom is usually a red or sometimes a pink or purple, even though pink is really not my color. I really dislike pink, but sometimes I do it in blues, but it'll still have like floral print or something. Blue is actually my favorite color, so sometimes I think I overuse blue. I'm probably a little biased to blue because that is my favorite color, so it probably gets used more than it probably should. But I try to have a little bit of a color scheme in some way or another to the rooms, to each of them, just kind of give them their own personality and their own attitude and things like that. And like this bathroom has a little bit of a lavender color, so not real dark, just kind of a light subtle color, and trying to trying to clutter the bathroom as much as I can. I mean, there's only so much you can do in bathrooms, just so trying to add different things to it to just kind of make them look a little bit different from every other bathroom that you see. But sometimes, I get other things, added, like that shelf and picture frame and things like that. And sometimes it's just a plain Jane bathroom. I don't do anything with it. So, anyway, like I said, this house actually is pretty good size. It's just that main living space I don't know, it somehow that ended up being pretty small. But as you can see, the downstairs, I mean, it's not really a basement, but the first floor area here, it's pretty good size. As you can see, I was trying to do those, the wall and stuff again around them stairs again, and they just weren't, it wasn't going in right. It was like it was not even close to the staircase, and that to me just used up too much room. So I ended up getting rid of it, and I love these chairs from Generations. They are used, and I'm not going to say all of my houses have these chairs, but pretty darn close to all of them. You're going to find at least one of these chairs just about in almost all of my builds. Not all of them. I think I have managed to make some houses that don't have them chairs, but I absolutely love them, and I love how you can set them next to each other just right, and it creates like a little love seat. I think they're so cute. I love those chairs. And I love the green, that, the first green color, when you click on them chairs. That is probably one of my favorite colors in this game. So a lot of times I base the room off of that chair. So, but now we're working on the kids' room. I use bunk beds because, unless you're playing a vanilla game, and the only time you can have a child is if you try for baby, and they don't do a whole lot of that stuff on their own, then odds are you're probably going to have more than one child. So a lot of times I do try to add a bunk bed, because whenever I play a game anyway, pregnancies and children they're a surprise. I mean, there's no guarantee in any of my games that my sim is not going to have a baby. So, no guarantee whatsoever. But here I'm just trying to make it look more like a kid's room. I would rather be able to put things more on the floor, because kids are not this clean. They're not this neat. They don't keep their stuff picked up. And the odds of all them toys still being on that shelf and not all over the floor is pretty slim to nothing. But, in the game you can't really do that, because then the Sims will throw a fit because they can't go somewhere, and, well, we can't have that. Basically, I was trying to decorate this room, I was trying anyway, to be kind of a boy or a girl by using the combination colors of blue, green, purple, all kinds of different colors. Now we're just basically just finishing up the landscaping, adding just a few more things. I thought maybe a nice play area would be nice for the kids, and just a few little bit more, added things to the house. So threw a few benches in here and there. A lot of times I tend to forget about doing something with the decks. So here we're just doing some lighting. I really don't like having a house that's not lit up at night when I play a game, so I try to remember the lights. Sometimes I forget them in my build, but I do add them later. If there's ever a video and it doesn't show me doing any of the lights, trust me, they are added later. They just apparently got missed for the recording portion of the video. So just going through doing some terrain painting just to make it look a little bit more natural, trying to make it look like things are used, and a little bit more muddy, I guess you could say, or something. Just trying to add a little nice touch to it. But that is pretty close to the end of this build, so Now we're into the screenshots. I hope you enjoyed. This house was fun to build, and I like the way the landscaping turned out. It definitely looked, I think, probably one of my better landscapings. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye.